Welcome back. So, older guys are done with dating. Older guys are giving up on dating. It's very common, actually. I'm seeing this all over the place, where guys they're not even in their late 30s and they're quitting game. They're quitting meeting women. They're quitting, obviously, hitting the clubs. It's a little bit too difficult for them. I guess let's list all of the things that get in the way for older guys when they get to, say, their mid to late 30s and things start getting a little bit more difficult, where they have to really start to put in the time and effort to keep up and still get laid. Let's list some of the difficulties that older men are having, and I'll come up with a few solutions as well. But before we kick it off, I'm Dave, and this channel is dedicated to giving you no BS, novel dating advice for the modern man. So top link in the description, go to my website. I have over 300 articles there. Put in a lot of work there. You can go to the one page on the website that says indirect day game. Go through those articles. They're probably the most valuable. And at the bottom of each article, oh, there's two cuties. I thought they were cute. At the bottom of each article, there's a list of my favorite articles to read. You go check them out. Put a lot of time and effort into that. It's totally free. You go check it out. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, by the way. Give me a thumbs up for the hard work. So, older guys. Well, obviously, it becomes a little bit more difficult to hit the nightclubs. I'm in my early 40s, but I still hit the clubs. Depending on your height, if you are under 6 foot tall, it becomes increasingly more difficult when you hit your mid 30s to late 30s to go to the nightclubs. The nightclubs are almost out of range for most guys unless they dye their hair like me and they're over 6 foot. I'm not over 6 foot. I just have game. Social circle, most of your friends, if you're a little bit older, they're married, they're in relationships. Some of them are full-blown alcoholics and just want to meet you at the pub and watch soccer or rugby or something. They don't really have a life anymore. They've given up. So they're useless. They're not very... they don't have the social skills to wing you with girls. If anything, they're dragging you down at this point. The married friends, they're just a time suck, although you might still love them, but going out and having dinner with them is such a time suck and it's boring, and you look at their life and you just think, oh my god, I can't believe you're living this life. It's out of fear. A lot of them, they lock up a woman because it's like, oh, I'm running out of time, I better lock in something, and you know, they want to focus on their career and have some kids, and locking in a girl is a safe way out. It's harder to make more connections as well, and this is something that people talk about in the dating industry. It's like, oh, go meet some people, but I'll tell you one thing that's very common is you could approach someone new, and as it's a guy that you want to make friends with, or especially in the dating niche like this, I can reach out to so many guys and they'll just take one look at me and be like, I don't like the look of him. It's like nothing that I've said, nothing that I've done. It's I don't like, he's too old, or you know, there's something about him I don't like. It's not good looking enough for me, so I'm not going to collaborate with him. I'm not going to help him out. And so I have to, it's harder to make those connections, and a lot of older men suffer from that in every aspect of their life. It's in big business as well. If you haven't made it by your late 30s, then it's really difficult to get those raises and rise up through the company. It's like you're finished by a certain time period, and that's not your fault either. You know, that's usually, it's just people above you haven't given you those chances to rise up, and you kind of find yourself stuck, and you have to kind of outwork them somehow. But building those connections in the dating part, oh, that's even more difficult. Making friends with guys that are 10, 20 years younger than you is even more difficult. They don't want to hang out with an older guy. I'm lucky somehow. I don't know. I somehow have a knack for making younger wings all the time. There's guys in their 20s that want to wing me all the time. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I'm in the pickup and it's just one of those things. But generally, collaborations and, you know, it can be very difficult. And so a lot of older men out there that aren't like myself and don't have the tenacity are going to suffer from a lot of rejection and just start to give up a lot easier. I don't necessarily give up that easy, but a lot of men, I totally understand why if you go out and you reach out to guys that are just a little bit younger or around your age and you just, where do I go? What do I do? How do I make some wings? How do I make some friends that are younger to get me out into the dating market again? How do I make some connections? It's really difficult. You get a few rejections, and they don't tell you why. You don't know why. Maybe it's just your age. It could be your body shape, the way you're dressed. It could be a multitude of things, and you don't know what to fix, where to go from there, and what to change. You know what I mean? So there's all these issues for older guys, and they find themselves, I'm seeing a lot of this, not just on social media, but there's a lot of articles being written about it where men, as soon as they reach their late 30s, early 40s, they become lonely, they become ostracized, they find themselves isolated. These massive lockdowns worldwide because of the didn't really help. The cough, the scamdemic, the Matrix, that didn't really help, did it? But things like that facilitated this extra isolation in older men, and I guess a lot of men during that period, they learnt to deal with being alone, and then when the borders open, you're allowed to go outside again, the restrictions are taken away. It's hard to get back out there when you've been isolated for such a long time, and it just becomes this routine where you just don't even want to go out. And I can totally understand that, but you have to force yourself to get out there. And so older men are getting hit from all different angles, not to mention in Western countries, the government hates you. The women have corrupted society so that you don't get any benefits from society. You're not only isolated and have less connections, and nightclubs are off the cards for you, and you got less friends, and all the friends that you did have, they're all busy doing other boring things that aren't really going to help you with your life, and you find yourself just isolated, wondering what to do. And I totally understand that. I do meet a lot of guys that are suffering from that. And there's so many things you can do. People go to meetups. Meetups are very valuable. You can go there. You can play around with the dating apps, but make sure that you face app the hell out of your face and make yourself look 20, and put yourself down as 28, or no one worth meeting is gonna swipe right on you. The last thing you want in your late 30s is to get into any sort of a relationship with a single mother or a broken woman that's bounced around 100 different guys and settling on you after she's had her fun. You don't want any of these things. You don't want to deal with crazy women like that, because ultimately she's going to ruin your life the same way she ruined every other guy's life. But she's even worse now because she's now got all the trauma and the baggage from all of those men from all of those years. And you find yourself as an older man being isolated, society hates you, you got all these things working against you, and you're looking at the same girls that the 25 and 30-year-old guys that are around 30 years old that have a bit of money and relatively healthy and tall, they're in their prime. You're competing with them for the 21-year-olds still. So you're a huge disadvantage. But then it gets back to, ultimately, as you get older, hopefully all of those years of experience, you have built up a lot of the ability to deal with rejection. Hopefully you're less likely to care what people think about you. Hopefully you are used to being knocked down, Rocky Balboa style, getting knocked down and getting back up again. And it doesn't bother you as much to get back out there and try to find some girls. Now, when you add all of these things together and you piece together how difficult it is for an older guy, especially in today's society, the only real solution that I have found, and a lot of you guys that have been following me for a very long time, you know what the solution is. The only solution is day game. It's getting out there and meeting new people, cold approaching new people. Now that cutie over there, where is she? There. Wait for it. Round the pole. There. That's someone that I would like to have gone over and said hello to. But again, going over, approaching, building connections, and some say yes, some want to hang out with you. You'll be surprised, miracles do happen out there. There are guys out there that say that it's too much effort, too much work. Don't listen to them. These are the same guys that spend more time playing video games or sitting at home scrolling through social media, and if they did a proper analysis of their life, they probably waste 4, 5, 6 hours a day doing stupid shit that could be spent an extra 5 minutes approaching a girl. It doesn't take a lot of time to implement this and introduce it to your life. But on top of that, like, just say you're one of those guys, you're isolated, you're you're in that situation that I just described, and you find yourself like, what can I do? Well, I honestly believe that signing up and doing some cold approach pickup, learning how to meet women in the daytime, and also going into the nightclub, like, fuck what society thinks. Who cares if the security guard's like, oh, this guy's a bit old? Fuck them. Go into the club, try and meet some girls. Hit the streets, meet them on the street. And worst case scenario, you can be like some of those American PUAs who have traveled all the way from America. They've traveled like 48 hours and landed in Bangkok because their game is that shit. You can be one of those guys. But if you're in Sydney and you get some coaching with myself, I guarantee, unless you are severely obese, you have some sort of a mental illness, you are severely sick, like there's something wrong with you, like you have a serious illness, or you have like some sort of a growth coming out of your face, like the Elephant Man. Unless there's something seriously wrong with you, you will find some meaningful connections, meet some girls, make some friends, and add some more people into your life through day game. Day game is a universal weapon that can solve your isolation and it will solve your loneliness as well. I guarantee it. If you look at the intro to my channel, you can read my book, The Disabled Casanova. Go to the website. You can buy my book if you're unsure about what I've been through. I had my legs cut off. I had my hips replaced at an early age. I lost everything. I was isolated. And cold approaching girls was like a lifesaver for me. It literally saved my life. It made sure that I wasn't lonely. The last hip replacement I had, the girl that lived with me during that hip replacement, she lived with me, was this hot girl that I met on the street. Well, I met her in Coles. I met her in a shopping centre. Literally half my age. Moved in with me and cared for me while I had my hip replacement. And that never would have happened without day game. Like, that's a life-saving weapon that I had, a tool at my disposal that changed my life. And it'll change your life as well. So check out the website, top link in the description. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And yeah, I think that covers everything. I'll see you guys in the next video.